apparently is, whatever. Anyways, why is this like this instead of like normal? Nope. Can I flip this like 180? Oop, boop. I think that's better. I don't know. You're gonna have to let me know down below. Anyways, so I have a theory. I don't know why I'm talking all strange today. I'm in a mood, I suppose. But my theory is, I'm gonna get a knife or something. Poke a hole. Oh, that sort of worked. That oil is very oily. If that makes sense. Like it feels like extra oily. That's close enough to full. Well, good morning. There are 3 people in here. So here's what we're going to be doing. I'm back down to 1. All right. I'll be playing with the chainsaw today. Might be a little dumb. Mostly because I've never owned a chainsaw before. And I've never used one. So let's have a little fun with it. Shall we? Now I'll explain to you the premise of what we're doing here in just a moment. 17. Great googly moogly. There's some people in here. All right, so 120. Wow, climbing. I like making tobacco pipes. I make them out of cherry and black walnut and stuff. But I have a problem. Normally, I would use a maul to split the wood, which is fine, but it leaves you with this big rough patch here. So that results in a lot of wasted material, right? So my thought, it might be a dumb thought, but it's mine, is I want to use a chainsaw here to kind of cut the staves instead of splitting them. Cut them with the chainsaw. At least then I have clean reference lines. There's not all this tear out and all this weird wonky grain and stuff. So yeah, we're gonna try that. This is cherry, by the way, cherry wood. And from what I saw, I could be wrong, but from what I saw, I need to screw the the bottom of it into a thing. So here's my thought. What I'm gonna do, like there's the log, I'm gonna cut it make 3 cuts, most of the way down, leaving a couple inches at the bottom, and then then I'll cut everything off. Blop. The thought process behind that is then I have all this, the staves for the pipes, but then at the bottom, that big hunk, now I have a big chunk that I can use to make a bowl out of once I get my lathe tuned back up. And the bonus is it's gonna start getting rid of all these logs. I could put these staves up and put these bowl blanks up and get them up out of the way. Because I don't know if you can tell, but I've kind of run out of space in here, so I need to start, working through some stuff. So we're gonna try that today, and maybe it'll work, or maybe I'll lose a finger. I don't know. Never played with a chainsaw. So that has oil in it now. Very good. Start with one of these smaller guys. Kind of heavy still, but not bad. Yeah. Not too shabby. So what I'll do is I'll pop this guy upside down. Right? And grab a couple screws here. Maybe this is a good idea, maybe it's not. But having this board on there should give us a little bit more stability, I hope. Maybe I should cut this in half so it has a wider base all around. Let's do that real quick. And this is as experimental for you as it is me. You can see what's going on there? Yeah. So what? That's close enough, right? Nope. Close enough. Yeah. That'd be a much better base for this thing. So. Nope. There we go there. Still one person, or 7 people, seeing if I chop a finger off while I'm being an idiot. Yeah, it's good. I think. Maybe. All right. See, look at that. At least that won't fall over on me. Put this back here a little bit. Actually, let's move this whole thing back here. Yeah, okay. Now, I'm going to grab some, face shield and some hair protection. So, un momento, por favor. So, got that. And where's my earplugs? Alright. Oh. That didn't work at all. Oh, whatever. Pop those off. Good enough. Guys have any questions or something, pop them in the chat. I'll see if I can get them up. Sometimes they pop up, sometimes they don't. So if they don't, I apologize, but see what's going on. Okay, so that was actually a lot easier than I thought. Adam Stanley, yo, I'm new. Hey, Adam, how's it going? Great to see you here. Thanks for coming in. And Alan, good morning, Chris. Good morning, Alan. How are we doing today, brother? See, look at all those nice black walnut shavings I'm getting. Oh, that's gorgeous. And oh, it smells so good too. So at the risk of angering the powers that be, that went a lot easier than I thought it was going to. Let's try it this way. Woo! A little dusty. Where's my vape? There it is. All right, so I'm going to cut this, 2 more times. And then we'll cut this, off like here-ish. And that way, That way everything should stay together. This is going not bad. Now I'll explain to you exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing it in just a moment. Let me just get this last 2 cuts done. Okay. And now we're going to lop it off that way. And we'll see what happens. It's working. Oh, goodness. Okay. What's chat say? Linen poet shirt, velvet doublet, and kilted for the Pride Parade. Very nice. And Jill and Bean say hi. Hey Jill, hey Bean. How you guys doing? Okay, so this whole thing that I did here, which actually worked, which nothing ever works the first time. Right? Nothing works the first time. But, so, for those of you who just tuned in and saw me being an idiot with a chainsaw, well, apparently not an idiot because it worked. But, you know, I make a lot of things, and I try and make them out of, straight from the source. I got these off of an old friend of mine. His name is Aaron. About 12 years ago, 10 years ago, somewhere in that range. some nice black walnut. He had it in his vape shop. He had it in a gun store for a while. Then that went out. Then he came back, did a vape shop. Had this sitting up there. I was like, hey, listen, if you ever get rid of that, let me know. I'll take it off your hands for you. And so he had it chopped up, and wish he didn't have it chopped up, but he did. And here it is. Did he just eat a blueberry? Those assholes. Robins are stealing my blueberries. Huh. Brazen. Anyways. So I make a lot of stuff out of wood. I'm working on making a sword. I make tobacco pipes, and so normally how I would start this process is I take a log, take a maul, and split it, chop it apart, which is fine, usually. But how that what that results in is a big, long, nasty split like this. You can see it's very uneven. There's a lot of tear out and stuff because you split the wood. It's not nice. What this did here is I got a nice flat reference surface. Actually, I got 3 of them. Let's see. Now, it's not perfect. But there's far less cleanup on this than there is on this. You can still see like the natural split of the wood there. So there is still going to be some ways, at least till I get better at this. But here's 2 pipe blanks. For two tobacco pipes. Cut that in half. Boom. 2, 4. Well, 3 cuts, 6 staves. 12 pipes. And that is a lot easier to store somewhere than that big log altogether. Well, that's the first part of it. Though, and normally I turn these into like tobacco pipes or weed pipes or whatever, which is fine, but I said I'm making a sword. And if I'm not going to do, if I'm going to leave the handle unwrapped, well, it would just make things a lot easier if I used a pretty wood to begin with. I mean, look at that heartwood there on that black walnut. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. And that's like a very nice size. Maybe, yeah, I had to make work smaller, of course, but like that's size-wise. 2 of these, nice. Yeah. And then at the bottom, I left the stub. This stub. I'm gonna turn that into a bowl. I'm back. Well, Karen, welcome back. So yeah, this is a very happy day. I had a test that worked. Well, as close to perfect as I'm very happy. So I got a bowl blank, and I got 6 staves. 6, there's smaller staves, but still 6 staves. I mean, I'm gonna have to change the shirt because with this guy here, all those chips went right down. I'm gonna be itchy later, but it's worth it, I think. Flip this guy over. I mean, I can use this as a table if I want. I really didn't care about appearances. I am so pleased with myself right now. That never happens. Something works your first try? That never happens. Shit like that happens in the movies. Now, I do suppose I am going to have to be, you know, a little fastidious when I go to turn this, because you can see all this checking and stuff in there. It's pretty deep. Some of it's through all the way through. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. At least not yet. Maybe I'll just do like a nice epoxy fill or something in there, like, you know, get like a little needle thing and like inject the epoxy in. Because I'm pretty sure if I were to turn this as is, you can see all the checking and stuff. It would just fly apart once I start cutting into it. But yeah, look at that. 6 of these guys. And actually, what might end up being more valuable than that is these chips for like color matching and stuff. And I know a buddy of mine down in the church, he would all my red oak, every shaving that was a hardwood, he would take. Because he would boil them, then you would take them out of the trash bag, boil them, throw them back into the trash bag, and then just poke a bunch of holes and stuff in it. There were mushrooms in them. And for a while, I was working with a lot of red oak, and apparently red oak is fantastic for lion's mane. Or at least so he tells me. I got chips all in there. Where's my mallet? Gotta split this guy here the last little bit. There it is. But yeah, I have a couple other logs of red oak and stuff, and a couple logs of black walnut, a couple logs of cherry, and I didn't really have a good way or a good system of breaking them down. Now I do. You have no idea how happy this makes me. This makes me. I am very pleased with this. Very, very pleased. It only took me half an hour to set everything up, figure it out, and get moving. Now I kind of have an idea, and that's going to take 10 minutes off, and yeah. And, you know, normally I'm not talking to a camera. Usually talking to myself. Muttering away here in my little cave. So, let me get these guys off to the side. Then I guess we could set up for our next project. Can't we? Which I need to make a set of stairs for a child. Look how well that turned out. That is. I am floored with how well that worked. If you couldn't tell. Now, here's the real question. Do I have any bags that I could put this in? I don't. But I can at least put it in here. And that'll be good enough for now. If I had a shop where it didn't rain inside when it rained outside, I'd probably get away with a bit more fun projects and stuff, but that is unfortunately not the world we live in. That is beautiful. I am so happy right now. Yeah. Little Ryobi chainsaw. No? Happy Father's Day to me, right? Yeah, good enough. Well, that battery's warm. Ooh. Oh. Whatever. It's gonna happen. Yeah. That was nice. Okay, so all right. There we go. Half hour. Wow. Still got a half hour left. These guys, where's the other two? These guys. All right. Here's my plan with this. Where I need to go is 4 feet off the ground, right? My table here is 4 feet long. And that is not a coincidence. I size this thing, and I size things for very specific reasons. Usually there's a more than a modicum of thought that goes into the how and the why of what I do. And this is one of these reasons. This is not just a woodworker's bench. This is an assembly table, a layout table. It's kind of an all-in-one. It's also a massive amount of storage because it's a what the hell is this called? It's a torsion table. But instead of ringing the outside with a solid piece of wood like you do in most torsion tables, where the divider pieces are that hook the top to the bottom, I left that outside open and I used those as drawers. And then I got a big long one right down the center for all my steel storage for the smithy back there. So there's many reasons why I built this table a very specific, certain way. I was very fastidious about how this thing got put together for a reason. So, what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to like tilt this back and forth a few times to kind of see, you know, first off, what angle looks best for the kid to ascend up. So that's way too steep. That's more like a ladder. That is more like a traditional staircase, which we're not going for a traditional staircase. We're trying to have something that's a little bit more, somewhere that's safer than a ladder, but still has a fairly compact feel to it. And we're going to be doing 6-inch steps, 6-inch risers. So we're going to need that. Cool, both my bevel gauges are dead. That's all right though. It doesn't need to be working to be useful. It doesn't need to have power to be useful, because we can just set this dead and then figure it out from there. So we got that guy. I'm gonna need a square, because I'm gonna have to square up a board for reference on that. Which, got a square. I'm gonna need a couple long clamps. Clamp this and my reference board down. So what I'm going to do is I got to find this angle first, whatever I like, right? And I'm going to set the bevel gauge. Step 1. Step 2 is then get a reference board perpendicular to the table here, so going straight across, which will act as my vertical. And I'll measure off the 6-inch increments on there. And that'll be, they'll be both, secured to the table. And then I'll take this square again and another board, or, I have a thing, and I'll transfer from the vertical to this. So what I need to do is mark all of my lines, just to make my life a lot less chaotic. Mark all of my lines on the vertical piece, use that to transfer them over to this piece. Simple, right? You would think, but nothing's ever simple. Anyways, let's get to it. Got 20 minutes left, and let's see what we can get accomplished in 20 minutes. What? 30 degrees roughly? Give or take? I don't think that's too bad, do you? Here's how we're going to run this. crank that down. We'll save that measurement for later when we're switching over and doing the other one. It's gonna get cut off there and cut off up there. So far we're good. All right, now here's the thing. When you're doing these, you really want to crank down on your measurements and on your pieces. You don't want this moving at all. See how I can't really budge that? Oh, I can't budge that at all. That's what you want. Because since you're doing a staircase, both sides have to be perfect mirrors of each other. And if you don't do that, you're going to screw something up. Now, I'm going to take this guy here. That's going to be our vertical reference. So we need to get this, squared up to the table, to the face of the table, because we're using this side of the table as ground and that side as the next level that we're trying to get to. Good. And my tape measure. And I need a pencil. I have those around somewhere. I swear to God, I lose pencils like I'm being paid. And I know, I should get one of those things that has 200 in it and just litter them everywhere, so I can't not find one. But I don't have that kind of money. I know, looking at me, it looks like I have free pencil money. But I most assuredly do not have free pencil money. So we're going to do 6, right? And then 5 1/4. And then 12. And 11 1/4. 18. And then 17 1/4. And what that is that's marking off the thickness of the step as well. That way, if because all my lumber is 3/4 lumber, I do the height of where I want the step to be, where the rise to be. Then I subtract the thickness of the stair tread to get where I need to put the support bracket. And then 2 foot and 23 1/4. And then 30 inches, 29 1/4. and 36. Quarter. And then there's one more step. Yeah, I do. And I need to get on the table for that. That's fine. So we got 42. And 41 and a quarter. I dug into my hip. Ow. But we got that marked up all the way up along. So, now we have to do two more important things before we can really mark off this angle. Let's mark off the other angle. On the top. And that way, if we lose our place or whatever, we got that. And then we also have the bevel gauge to make sure we're not screwing things up too badly. And all we do is take our marks, transfer them from the vertical to the stair riser using the square and the straight edge, and bing, bang, boom. And hopefully you can kind of see how this is starting to kind of take shape here. And there's going to be a lot of excess cutoff. I'm going to use that for the nosing on the tread, which is just a little extra thickened piece. So I'm going to get all those, glue those on, and going to round them over a little bit, so it's a little bit nicer on the feet and stuff, because like I said, this is for a kid. So I don't want there to be any issues. And my boss would say, "Oh, you need a tissue?" No, I don't need a tissue. But if this isn't made correctly, the kid, it is made for wood. Here's an interesting thing about people, and stairs specifically, and I learned this about, as a draftsman. The human body loves predictability. It's understandable. And within 2 stairs, It only takes 2 or 3 steps. Yeah, it's only 2 or 3 steps for your body to get a natural rhythm for how the stairs move. So if, you know, step 1 is 6 inches, step 2 is 6 inches, step 3 is 6 inches. If step 4 is 6 1/8, because it only takes an 1/8 inch variation to throw you off, almost everybody will stumble and fall on that. Which, an interesting thing about castles, if you've ever had the chance to really dig in and check out a medieval castle, which if you haven't, you should, they're fascinating. One thing they did when designing them, and they did this on purpose, is first off, they would have a lot of right turning staircases. If you were going upstairs, they would turn to the right. If you were going down the stairs, they would turn to the left. And the reason for that is, as a defender, then you have your shield closest to the wall between you and the opponent, trying to come up this way. And conversely, going down. And then your weapon arm was free. The second thing they did was they would intentionally make the stairs wrong in castles for more highly defended areas. And they did this on purpose, specifically to take advantage of that phenomenon that, you know, every few steps they would change the stair. So that the people who lived there and worked there and were going up and down those stairs all the time, they got used to it. You know how it's in your house or something, you get like a trick stair or something and you just know. But you have a guest over, they fall. You're like, oh, well, yeah. Or there's a low header somewhere in the house and you just absentmindedly duck as you're carrying things up and down and someone who's never been there smashes their forehead. Same idea, except this with castle, it have like life and death consequences. So between the rotation of the stairs, whether you're going up or down, primarily, and whether you're going to be defending down or up, and intentionally making the stairs wrong, because they could make the stairs the right way, but they did it intentionally to screw with people if they tried to, you know, storm the castle. Very fascinating stuff. And sort of similar relates to this. So we're trying to avoid that and make these correctly. But anyways, a little aside, a little history lesson for you, a little architecture lesson for you. But yeah, castles are cool and designed meticulously. Oh. I guess anything back then was designed meticulously because you had a lot more time to design things and you had a lot less computer assistance. So all you had was meticulous design. You see, so you know, these are all exactly 6 inches apart. Not too bad. What are we time-wise? Do we have any comments? No more comments and 55 minutes. We got 5 minutes left. All right. You know, if you're watching this, you can comment, and I don't bite unless you ask me nicely. And I enjoy answering questions and you know, helping people's understanding of either the what or the why I'm doing certain things. It's, to me, it's good for the soul. Oh. And believe it or not, helps me process whether or not I'm on the right track, just talking about it out loud. Which I'm sure you do believe it. You're still here and seem like you're a rather intelligent crowd. Let's go to the next step. That's all tight, that's all tight. Now, if you're wondering why I'm using this method instead of a combination square, it's, well, a combo square, while good, is not that big. And even though I could use the combo square on these two lower stairs and it would make things a lot faster and easier, you don't want to change tools mid-job. So let's see if we can rotate this around. Maybe I can at least finish these last couple. Yeah. We'll get to the other side. There we go. Wonderful, beautiful staircase all laid out. Now, I'm not sure what I'm going to use as the brackets. We'll figure that out. Let's get this turned around here and we'll end on a nice little high note. Because there was quite a lot of success with this tier today. I'm quite happy with it. Got to play with the chainsaw and actually do something useful with it. I still have all 11 fingers, so we're good. We're very good. Yes. Very happy with this. Alright guys, well, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I really do. And yeah, I'm gonna go finish this up here, and if it doesn't rain, I might find a pool to jump in. Maybe, just maybe. Thanks for watching, and thank you for helping make this world better. One care for time, and I'll see y'all later.